When I picked up the DJI Action 4, I was looking for a small little on-the-go camera so I didn't have to lug around my full frame unless it was absolutely necessary. But when I picked up the iPhone 15 Pro Max, I started to wonder if it was a mistake picking up the Action 4. So that's what I plan on finding out today. Roll it.
Resume is a heavyweight, yeah. Put it on my back, give me everything, yeah. I need everything, I need all of everything, yeah.
This is gonna be a very simple, straightforward comparison. No fluff, no B-roll of the devices. You guys know what they look like. They're right here, you've seen them a million times. Especially the iPhone, everybody's doing videos on it. For good reason. And for this comparison, I'm gonna set both of these cameras up exactly how I would normally use them. I'm not worried about making this comparison fair. I'm more concerned about what's the most I can get out of both of these devices. So very simple samples, everything's gonna be shot in log, and I'm gonna add a simple color grade to both of these cameras. I'm not gonna stress myself out and kill myself over matching up the colors. So no more waiting around, let's go do it. Let's go try these out, let's head outside. All right, first up, we're working with the ultra wides. Ultra wide setting on the Action 4 and the actual ultra wide camera on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And again, we're doing everything how I would do it. I'm not gonna shoot in a standard profile and colors, how they come straight out of camera. This is how I would shoot with both cameras. So I would be in log on the iPhone 15 Pro Max and I'd be in D-Log M on the DJI Action 4. And some of you guys might not notice, but if you go into the iPhone 15 Pro Max settings, there's actually a little tab that you could check for enhanced stabilization, which it says crops in just a little bit more. And I figured since we're going up against an action camera, we'll turn that on and just really see what both of these cameras can do when it comes to stabilization modes. Not doing a real fast walk here, but you guys can get an idea. I'm not gonna be doing any running today whatsoever. How many people run and vlog at the same time? And I'm sure there's a few of them, but not this guy and not anybody I know, so just regular vlogging, stabilization test. Look at this beautiful scenery here. This is like 5 minutes from my house. Just found out it even existed the other day. I was shooting a wedding and a couple brought us up here because they knew of a nice spot for some photos and video shots. I was like, wow, I am definitely gonna be using this. So nice little spot. Now, as far as image quality on the ultra wides, what do you guys think? iPhone 15 Pro Max here, DJI Action 4 here. And this is as wide as the Action 4 can go, by the way. Again, we're working with several different lenses, but it is what it is. We're not just gonna focus on the ultra wides today. I'm gonna use both of these devices exactly how I would use them in a real world situation, which means every camera that's available to me on the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the only one that's available to me on the Action 4 with different lens modes. All right, now I switched over from the ultra wide on the Action 4 to the wide, so it's a little bit of a tighter shot. It should be a little bit closer to what we're getting out of the iPhone's ultra wide. Now, of course, when DJI is cropping into this camera, they're doing a few things to the distortion of the look to make it look like it's an actual different lens. I'll tell you the truth, what I'd like to see out of an action camera is add a second camera. Forget the front-facing screen or make it smaller or just make the action camera bigger. And then we could have something like the standard ultra-wide lens that all action cameras come with, and then something more like the main 1X camera on an iPhone, which is like a 24mm, even like a 20 would be nice, with a faster aperture. That way we get a little bit of a separation on there. That would be sweet. Oh, the sun went away, huh? We got a big cloud coming too. Oh, that's gonna darken it right up. Look at that cloud right there, passing right in front of that sun. Oh, that's gonna change the whole shot. All right, now we switched over to the 1X camera on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is the best camera on this phone. And we switched over to standard D-Warp on the Action 4, which is the tightest view that you got. So if you want something like a more normal, non-ultra wide shot, this is what you're gonna be dealing with. Now, the one thing is unless you're shooting with the front-facing camera on the iPhone, you do have a nice little front-facing screen on the Action 4 where you can kind of see your shot a little bit and frame up everything, and you don't really have that if you're shooting with the rear cameras on the iPhone. You kind of just have to just guess, just line it up. And a lot of times I find myself when I'm shooting with my iPhone and I can't see my shot, I find myself having a lot of headroom, which annoys me. So now I feel like I got to keep it a little bit lower. Never really know where to go with my shot. We'll do a little speed walk right here, see how that stabilization is. Very impressed with the stabilization coming out of this iPhone. I think it's about as good as you really need unless you're doing some kind of action sports or something like that. Really good image stabilization on the iPhone. They did a great job. It's kind of on par, especially in walking situations like this, with most action cameras. All right, now last comparison, the front-facing camera on the iPhone 15 Pro Max versus the standard D-Warp on the Action 4. And now, of course, I do have an actual screen to see myself. And I gotta say, everything looks good. Everything looks good in log coming out of this camera. Even the front-facing camera, it's definitely doable for a vlogging situation. Very good. iPhone, just that one little feature, man. Turning down the sharpness, turning down the contrast, giving us log 10-bit ProRes. The image quality just for a phone, it's as good as I've ever seen coming out of a phone. Let's do a little stabilization test here. This is a fairly fast walk. This is way faster than I would normally walk coming on this. There's not enough cool in this walk for me. So on the Action, you do have a digital crop, and you can go all the way up to 2x. And on the iPhone, you also have a digital crop, which is 2x. If I tap that, that's where we're at. And it's still a significant punch in for the iPhone compared to the Action 4. But then if you have the Pro Max, you have a 5x telephoto lens. And if you have the Pro, you have a 3x telephoto lens, which is 70 mil. And the iPhone 15 Pro Max is 120 mil equivalent. And if I tap into that now, you can see we get some good distance out of this camera. And the image looks good. So far in this video, I've been recording audio directly into the Rode Wireless Pro and then syncing it up afterwards because, again, that's how I would normally shoot with both of these cameras. I really wouldn't depend on the onboard microphones unless I really had to. But just for test comparisons, this is what the onboard microphone sounds like coming out of the Action 4. And this is what it sounds like coming out of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, I did realize that there is some kind of front-facing microphone on the 15 Pro Max, because whenever I put a filter on the front of this camera, it muffles out the sound a little bit. So I don't know if it switches depending on which camera you're... Whoa, scared the shit out of me. These people scared the shit out of me. They got my nerves going. Crept out of the bushes. I just peed over here too. I didn't think anybody was here. Oh, there's more people coming. That was weird. That was really weird. I'm like in the middle of nowhere on some woodsy hiking trail. I was just exposed like 10 seconds before they came and peed in a bush because I thought nobody was out here and I really had to go bad. But anyway, yeah, there's some like different microphones on this camera. There's a new one on the back lens, which I don't think was there before. So this is what the audio sounds like coming out of the front-facing camera. I don't know if there's any difference. All right, as for frame rates, the iPhone 15 Pro Max could shoot 4K up to 60 frames per second and 1080p up to 240 frames per second. The DJI Action 4 can actually shoot 4K up to 120 frames per second and 1080p at 240 frames per second. But I think I'd rather have the quality and lens choices of the iPhone 15 Pro Max at 4K 60 frames per second than be limited to just this one camera at 4K 120p. That's just my personal preference. I'm more concerned with being able to mix one of these cameras in with my full frame camera, like what I'm shooting on right now, without it being too noticeable, and I think the iPhone definitely wins in that category. There are benefits for both of these systems, and the Action 4 is a really great camera, but really when it comes down to it, if I had to choose one of these, I'm going the iPhone 15 Pro Max all the way. It's just fantastic. This is the best video taking smartphone by far that I've ever used in my life. And it really all comes down to that Apple ProRes log option. I've been giving away free LUTs lately to a ton of people, basically anybody that wants them. If you're one of those people that got my free LUTs, drop a testimonial in the comment section below so all the newbies know that it's the real deal. And I'm gonna be adding a LUT for the DJI Action 4 as well as a creative LUT that I've been using myself for like 2 years now, and it's a really good LUT. It's not something that you transform log footage over. You just want a normal looking shot. So if you're shooting in log, you wanna make sure you convert your footage over to Rec 709 first before you apply the creative LUT. Or if you're not shooting in log, you could just apply the creative LUT right on top. And I would recommend The max 50%. Don't go all the way up to 100%. 50% at max. Usually when I use it, it's somewhere between 20 and like 35% max. And to get those two LUTs along with the Apple ProRes Log LUT and the Blackmagic Apple ProRes Log LUT, all you have to do is very simple. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Take a screenshot showing that you subscribe to this channel and send it over to me in a message on Instagram at Anthony Lapani. And then I'll reply with the link, and then you could just go in there and download all the LUTs for free. And if you already have the link for any of those LUTs that I already made, you already have access to the new DJI LUT and the creative LUT that I'm gonna put in there. You just open the folder and it's gonna be added in there. And that goes for any future LUTs. So whoever has that link, it's just automatically gonna pop up and be updated for you. Thumbs up, comment down below, make sure you subscribe, hit that little notification bell, and thank you guys for watching. I love you guys so much. I'll talk to you later. Salute!